Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint this little baby raccoon. We're going to go step by step from start to finish and hopefully keep it beginner friendly. It's probably going to be a medium difficulty painting, I think. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat for our live show, so if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I will try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so Mark forgot to turn off the audio back there. Sorry about that.
I didn't plug it in.
Oh, that's why you were tapping your headphones like I can't hear anything out of these.
Durr.
Check.
So
check.
What did I say just before we went live? Let's see if I can remember how to do this.
Yeah.
So the answer is no.
It's only been one night off, and he's forgotten everything. So we're going to go over a lot of fun techniques with this one. We'll be showing how to do fur and how to get some shine in the eyes here. And I'll do some glazing on the fur and show you how to use a liner brush for some of the whiskers. So there'll be all kinds of interesting techniques on this one, I think, hopefully. I've gone ahead and pre-prepped my canvas. This is a 9x12 inch canvas panel from Fredrix. It's a pro linen board. Really love these. They've got a really smooth texture, so they are really nice for fine details like this one. And I have just transferred on my design onto the canvas using a pencil, a watercolor pencil, so it's erasable, and it'll dissolve as we paint. And let's go over our brushes really quick. So thank you to Fredrix. They're our canvas sponsor. Oh, I also forgot to mention I did coat it. Even though the canvas was white, I went ahead and put a coat of titanium white underneath just to cover the entire thing since we're going to leave the background white. All right, I've got a few brushes. So you're going to want some sort of brush that you can do some texture for the fur with. So there's a couple of different options. You can use like a Willow's blender or even like maybe a fan brush if you have a small fan brush. The Willow's blender are these kind of rounded Filbert brushes that are stiff bristled and they can do kind of texture, fur texture. They do really well for the short textured fur. So I'll probably use them around the face where the hairs are a little bit shorter. And then where the hairs are longer, we're going to want like a rake brush or something like that. So you can make a rake brush if you don't have them. These are called Filbert Graniers. That's their name for the rake or comb. Or they're called all kinds of different things. They've got a rounded tip as well, and they have all these really sparse hairs in there for making fur really, really easy to do. So I've got a couple different sizes, a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch in both of those brushes there, the Willow's blender and the Filbert Granier. And then I've got a couple 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch angle brushes just to fill in some of the basic areas. And then a few round brushes for the eyes and some of the smaller details. I've got a 18-aught short liner, very, very fine for the whiskers. You're going to want a very, very thin liner for that. And then a number 1 round and number 3 round. So if you don't have all these brushes, that's fine. Just use what you've got that's similar. But I do have a list down in the description, link to the brush guides, and I've got all kinds of recommended brushes on that list at thebrushguides.com and a code for Angela Fine Art to get 5% off. So, all right, let's go over our colors really quick. I've got yellow oxide, burnt sienna, burnt umber, carbon black, ultramarine blue, titanium white, unbleached titanium, and zinc white. That's pretty much all we've got. Over here I've got like thinner versions of the white and black, so that'll make the fur a little bit easier to use a thinner. I'm just using the fluid acrylics. You could add acrylic medium to your heavy body acrylics, so some sort of like even glazing liquid would work just to thin out your paints for when you're doing the fur. And yeah, and then over here I've got ultramarine blue and burnt umber that I'm going to mix up together for some gray. So let's do that first. Actually, let's draw first, and then we'll start painting. I'm going to show you how to draw it. It's fairly easy. He's got a really sweet face. And one thing I did want to say going in, if you want to simplify this, so if you're like a beginner painter and the hands are throwing you off, I would just do the top part, do like a portrait, just cut off this body and just do the front, the face, and focus on that. Work on it. You can get a lot of hair details and all this other stuff, and then you won't have to worry about doing these hands if they freak you out. So That is a really easy way to simplify. So the basic body shape is this triangle, right? So I'm just going to kind of use my hands here and figure out the spacing on my paper here, because I'm going a little bit smaller than my drawing. So I'm going to want him to fit right in here. His tail is going to come out this way, and then his body's going to come out somewhere in here. So I'm just going to kind of put out the basic shape of the triangle, just with some few little scribbles here, just to kind of give me an idea of where I want to put my details. Okay, and then our face is going to fit right in here, and it's going to be kind of a triangular body or bottom, the chin, and then the top is kind of rounded off. So that's about right. And it could be maybe a little bit bigger since this neck, yeah, like that. Okay, I think that's about right. So then it comes almost straight down from the neck, and the shoulder comes in a little bit. This arm comes forward and out this way. Little paws. And what I do when I'm looking at my drawing is I'm just looking at this kind of overall shapes. I'm not really focusing on any of the details yet. I'm just looking at this outside angles, this angle to this angle. So I want to get that right here, and I want to get the angle up around the face right. And then this angle here coming in on the chin, it's a little softer than I did it there. And I'm not worried about any one line being perfect. I'm kind of just scribbling in and trying to get sort of a general idea of where everything is going to go. And then I can go in and solidify my lines and clean it up later. So there, oh, it's going to come out a little bit farther than I did it. And it's going to look kind of funky at first. So just kind of know that going in. It's not going to look, really finished yet. But okay, so there's our kind of basic shape. The head, and then you're going to go like straight across here, just kind of find the middle line here, and our eyes are a little tilted, so I'm going to tilt my line just slightly and make sure that my nose line is tilted as well. The nose is going to come up just a little bit from the chin, so it's really close down to the bottom, and it's about, let me think here, so fits kind of right in this little curved area here. If you just did a little box and then just kind of round it off, that's pretty much the nose shape. Round off those corners like that. And it dips in just a little bit right here. And then right kind of in the middle, there's these two nostrils that kind of come out like this, and then they split off and go up. So they split and do this kind of teardrop shape, and then there's a little split right here at the bottom of the nose. Okay, so that's that, and then there's a shine right here. Then the nose kind of curves in. There's fur that kind of curves in here. And then if you did a line straight up from the middle, from the sides of the nose, that's where the eyes are going to start. So if you look here, that line right there is going to match up to right there. So that's how you can know kind of how wide to make your eyes, and do them right on that middle line that we drew. And they're kind of a little bit triangular at the top and then rounded at the bottom. So kind of like this, sort of almond shaped a little bit, but they're more rounded on the bottom sides here. They're pretty round. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then they've got this bandit mask that comes around the details. Comes around to the cheek. Okay, I've got a lot of lines here that I don't need, so I'm going to start erasing some of those now. Don't need any of this. Okay, now you can see kind of what we've got going on. So our nose detail comes in, that widens out a little bit around the eyes, and then narrows and goes up the middle of the forehead, and then there's this white that comes around the sides here and here. fur right there. Okay. And then our ears, if you take a line from the center of the nose, I'm going to round off the bottom of this nose just a little bit more and bring this chin up just a little tiny bit. It's more like that. Round that nose off. There we go. If you did a line from this corner of the top of the nose through the eye and up on either side this way, this will be where that center part of the ear is. And then we build around it like that. Maybe not that big. That one's kind of tilted out a little bit. And then this one is, and they've got pretty big ears, so don't go skimpy on the ears. Cute, right? And then they'll have little fluffy cheeks coming out here. So all this will be all fluff. I'm drawing a line, but it's really going to be, more fluffy than we're drawing. Just kind of trying to get our basic sizes. And what you can do is do this on paper and then take a tracing paper and trace this out and then transfer it onto your canvas. That's what I usually do if I'm doing a complicated drawing. All right, so right about where this black mask comes down right here, that's where the shoulder is on this arm. It comes around like this, it comes in, then kind of comes out, curves around, and back in for this foot here. And the foot comes out and does this kind of paddle shape, like an oval shape almost. It's got these lines coming out like this. It's split. And there's some darkness here and kind of some fur kind of coming up like this. You really can't see the leg. It's kind of just getting all mushed up with the body. But it's about where we're seeing. And then you can kind of separate out the toes a little bit once you get they're pretty close together here, so on this foot you're not really seeing a whole lot of separation in the toes. And then come up a little bit, and there's that tail coming out and down. Comes out to a point and fluffs out all of this way and comes back in here. So there's, erase that line. We weren't that far out. Isn't that cute? He's so cute. Can't stand it. He's a little baby raccoon. And you got to say it like that.
Well, I'm sure now I'm going to lose the
proper cuteness.
The lottery.
Why?
Well, it was, okay, how many times is she going to say cute today? I'm way low because I said 7 and you just busted out 2. Boom, boom. So.
There's our little ring tails. So we're going to do like little rings here. They kind of come out at an angle. And I probably made that tail a little bit long, but that's all right. All right, and then, so here's this hand. It's going to come out and splay out. Here's the bottom of the body. And this foot, actually, it's what we're seeing. This one comes out just a little bit, does this kind of triangular shape right here. And these back paws are a little bit bigger than the front ones, it looks like, so can do them a little bit smaller here in the front. So there's our basic paw shape there. This one is kind of sort of a triangle almost shape like that, or a diamond shape, and then just separate out those little toes. So they kind of do this sort of teardrop shape almost, or they're like very small, and then you can see the webbing between the toes back in here. So you can erase some of the, I kind of did this shape on all the way to the outside edge, so you can erase a little bit of that, and okay. There we go. This one is quite large, and then there's a little one back in here. And then you're seeing these the webbing between the toes, but the toes, the color on the fur is going all the way back behind this webbing. So this is going to be dark in here in between. But then make that a little bit smaller. Like that. See that? And I may have made it a little bit long. I'm not going to try to move it at this point because it's too far back. If you make a mistake like this, like if you put your paw too far forward and you really like your drawing and you're just like, oh, I don't want to have to redraw that. Just when you trace it, just move your tracing down. Just trace up to the point where you want to add that hand and then move your tracing down and then trace on that and it'll take out that little gap in there. It's a lot easier to do it that way than, that's why I do like working on tracing paper because it's a lot more forgiving. So you don't have to, if you make a mistake on it, you don't have to like redraw the entire thing. Just kind of fix it when you trace it. Okay, little claws coming in right here, little claws here. They're just going to be little tiny color indication. There's not going to be a whole lot of detail with them. And then this paw here has got dark, dark. So we're really mostly just going to kind of, on this one, it's sticking together pretty closely. They're not seeing the pads of the feet too much. So you're just seeing the kind of the nails sticking out. This one's got a big old nail hanging out right here. And right here. All right, and then this foot here, you're seeing the bottom of the foot. So it's kind of cute. You're seeing like these little individual toes and just the bottom of the nail. So just toe and nail. And like I said, if this like freaks you out and you're just like, I can never do this, I don't want to do toes, I do have a traceable that will be available. So I will be offering that for $1. So you can just use that. Trace it on and you're good to go. You don't have to draw at all. If you want to draw part of it, like you said, like I could do the face, but I don't want to do the body. You could, draw the face and trace on the body from the traceable, or just leave the body, out completely and just do this part on your canvas and just do your, do a smaller canvas or do the bigger canvas and just cut off the top of the head there. And even if you draw it on a small piece of paper, you can still trace it on. You can do your tracing and then enlarge it on a okay, so here's the pad of the foot. Sorry, pad of the foot comes around like that, and there's some little creases in it, but that's about it. All right, so that's our little, and you can kind of see the foot coming in like that a little bit, the dark color. But that's our raccoon for the most part. Pretty easy. Ish. I don't know. I would say that one's kind of probably not as easy as some, but it can be simplified. All right, so let's get to painting now. Oh, and I was going to say, if you, just take your thing. If you've got a larger canvas, there is a website called rastervator.net, and that allows you to enlarge your canvas, your paintings, your drawings, onto a larger canvas. So, all right, I'm going to spread that out, and I'm going to combine my Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber here. I've got equal parts. Just combine that, make a nice dark gray. This will be kind of a good base color for a lot of our fur. You can see the fur, if you look at it really closely, it's not completely black. It's got a lot of browns in it. So we're going to use this color for that. I'm just using a palette knife to make it so that I don't get my brush all dirty. And I sprayed my palette down so that it's wet. I wish I'd done that before I drew because it's kind of already starting to dry out a little bit. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to just start with a larger brush, and we're going to base in some color underneath. And what I'm going to do is look at what is this color underneath all of our fur. So I'm just kind of seeing some black. So I'm probably going to go ahead and use this color here that we just mixed up and just go ahead and put it on. And when I do, I'm going to maybe add some dark, really dark in certain areas where I know it's going to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to use some black up under that chin. And then where it's lighter, like around the edges here, I'm going to go ahead and use just a little bit of lighter color, just so that I have a little bit lighter tone, so I don't have to fight that really dark to cover it up. Like right in here, it's a little bit lighter. And I'm going to go just inside my line. I don't want to go all the way to the outside line because our hair is going to go outside that line, so I'm going to go kind of right up to it, but not quite over it, so that when we do our, and that's a good practice when you're tracing anything onto the canvas, is to go just inside your tracing line. So when you do your drawing, you know, you've got your fur all along that edge. Go to the very bottom of the fur line and trace that on. Don't trace on the outer edge. That way you'll leave a little bit of room for your fur to kind of come out the sides a little bit. And if you don't do that, then your animal's gonna end up a little bit bigger than you want it to be. Okay, so a little bit lighter gray here. I'm just gonna do this quickly. I don't need to worry too much about what it looks like. I am kind of paying attention to the direction that the hairs are going, though, so that if I do have any of this kind of showing through, that it already kind of has that slight direction. So right here, it's kind of coming down and then is sweeping out this way along that arm. This one is sweeping out this way. I'm going to grab some burnt umber and do the foot in burnt umber. Probably need a smaller brush because it's very small. I'm going to get a little bit smaller brush here. I'm going to use that dark black along my lines so I don't lose my drawings. Okay, it's going to look really bad at first. This is our first layer. It's not going to look good. So just kind of know that going in. It's going to be intentionally bad. This is our first go at it. Our upper layers are what will give it more dimension and finished quality, but this layer is just laying down. This is definitely, for some reason, animals just in general, just as anytime you're doing fur, you're just going to have a pretty big, prolonged, ugly stage when it comes to doing them. So just, if you know that going in and be like, okay, because your brain's going to start telling you at this point, like, this is all wrong. Like, I am totally doing something wrong here. This cannot be right. And so you just kind of have to push through that and kind of ignore your brain's signals, because it's going to start telling you all kinds of things. And then what happens a lot of times, and this happens a lot in drawing too, is that you will start to try to correct. And you'll kind of have this preconceived notion in your head of what a raccoon is supposed to look like. And so then you're going to get all janky because your brain is, you're going to be starting putting stuff in here that's not actually in the actual image, because you're going to compensate for what your brain thinks it should look like. And it's never right. It's always, something that you learned in, kindergarten, what a raccoon looked like. And that's kind of what your brain stored as a raccoon in your head. And so it's never, that's why, primitive art is so interesting to me, because it's basically like what, when you're painting from memory, it's you're painting, that symbol in your head that you've got memorized of what a raccoon looks like. It's not going to look like a raccoon. It's just not. I mean, it may have some of the basic, form of raccoon, but if you're trying for realism, it's not going to look right. If you're trying for, some very original, beautiful art that is unique and, special to you, then go for the, memorized version. So, I think they're both valid art forms for sure. But, if you're going for realism, then that's not the way to go about it. Because you will get lost along the way if you kind of listen to your brain signals for what the raccoon should look like. Just focus on the drawing. Just do the steps, and it'll eventually come together. Get your drawing right. And the rest will fall in line. We'll do these steps in the fur. Get these dark colors in underneath. Once we do that, then once we put those upper colors on, we'll have all this beautiful dark hair underneath to give us good contrast. If we tried to do white hair on top of this white canvas, it would look white. It would not look like anything was going on under his fur. So that's why we're having to do this, even though this is not at all what it's going to look like when it's finished. But there is these colors underneath, so we've got to get those in first. That's all we're doing. And I'm just kind of paying attention to where the darkest areas are and trying to put those in so that I have a little bit of an idea of where the leg is, like this leg is going to be right in here. So I'm going to go a little bit darker around the outside of it so that I know where to put it. Hope that made sense. We talk about the ugly stage a lot in our paintings. It's a real thing. It's real. Don't stop at the ugly stage. Don't let it fool you. Every painting is ugly, has an ugly stage at some point.
Mine has that stage all the way up through completion.
All the one up through completion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
And all my paintings seem to be just first layer.
I've seen a lot of paintings in galleries that would be considered ugly stage paintings. That are, so it's all in the eye of the beholder. You have your own unique style, honey.
Yes, I do. It's called kindergarten.
Amateur.
I paint in that genre.
You paint in that genre? Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Sounds like an artsy word.
Right. It's your stylistic choice.
That's right. So I was looking up some facts.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
facts?
Yeah, and of course because I get words that I cannot pronounce. So it says that they're named after their hands.
Really?
That's what it says on the internet.
Interesting.
And it says that says Native Americans were the first to note their unusual paws.
Mm-hmm.
The English word for raccoon comes from the Powhatan word argukan, I guess, which means animal that scratches with its hands.
Interesting.
The Aztecs went a similar direction when naming the raccoon. They called it Mapachitli, or the one who takes everything in its hands.
Interesting.
So even way back then, they were raiding and stealing things. One that takes everything with its hands.
Yeah, that's cute.
And there's been, people have shown videos of them coming in, grabbing something, and then walking on their hind legs.
Yeah, like a person, like walking away. Yeah, like
while they're holding it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty resourceful little critters.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really get them around here much. I've seen them on the road, so I know they're around, but we haven't really seen them in our yard. I think our cat keeps them away. For the most part, we don't have a lot of them in our yards. We have possums, though. I will not be doing a painting of a possum ever. So just to let you know, if that's your favorite animal, you're out of luck. They are mean and not cute at all. And they eat all of our birdseed, and we don't like them. And they hiss and scare the bejeebers out of you if you go out there in the middle of the night.
And they scream like little babies if you scare them.
Yep. Okay, so doing the dark around the outside of the face there. Get around the eye here. I'm going to get this black and do that around the eye. And I'm trying not to do too thick with this too, so I am kind of smoothing these out, even though I am leaving kind of some texture. I am kind of not leaving thick areas if I can help it, because it'll help it the fur go on easier, smoother if I don't have like really thick texture underneath here. So I'm dabbing it on, but I am smoothing it out as I'm going a little bit. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, there's 2, 3. What was that? 5?
About 78. You just say you don't even know what it is.
I know. Well, this baby animal series, I have a feeling it's just going to be pretty much, you could do a drinking game and get really sloshed.
Somebody said they were going to eat chocolate every time you said cute.
Oh, nice.
So
That's much better.
That person's going to have a tough time getting up. All the chocolate they're going to be eating.
All right, kind of dabbed in that nose there. It doesn't have a whole lot of dimension yet. Hopefully I'll be able to go back in and do that. And let's do some of this dark around the ears. Up in here. And as I get toward the outside edges, I'm just kind of doing it lightly, because I know I'm going to have to go in there and fix it later. Go over the top of it. Okay. Cute, cute, cute. Let's get some burnt sienna. Seeing some burnt sienna in his ears. Up in here. A little bit in the nose area. A little bit around the eyes. This is burnt sienna here. It's kind of thinned out, so it's not really dark. And let's just go ahead and use the Unbleached Titanium. Fill in all of this area around his face. And around the outside of the ears there. Okay, done. Creepy eyed. That's your favorite part, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've seen creepier.
That's true. I think the
polar
bear was the winner.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. Zooming in, that helps a little bit.
Pretty creepy. Going in with the black hair around the paws. Just kind of painting those in a little bit more detail. Okay. Same thing on these toes here. All right, let's fill in those creepy eyes. Here, let's get some black. We're gonna put that in. So much better. Okay, let's go ahead and all right, done. Voila. That's one of my pet peeves. Voila. I'm like the spelling Nazi police when it comes to voila.
W-A-L space L-A
H.
H. I always miss the H.
Not. There is no W in voila. I should just make a shirt that says that.
And you got to get more V in your voila.
Yeah. Mark. Yeah, I'll say it later. We'll tell the broken lawnmower story later. Broken. I'll let you tell that story. You may not want to.
I fixed it.
How many months has it been broken?
About a month and a half, 2 months. But I fixed it.
We hired somebody to
I am a
mow
man.
our lawn.
I am a man. I fixed my lawnmower.
Uh-huh.
You can't deny that.
And what was wrong with it?
It didn't have any gas.
I love that. Why that just made my day when I heard you. Because that's something I would do. I think that's why I love it. Okay. The broken lawnmower just needed gas.
Yep, I opened up the air filter area, checked out the carburetor, everything's looked okay, nothing sticking.
Mm-hmm.
Removed the fuel filter.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fuel coming out one side. Well, that's okay. Well, that's the higher side, so that's not unusual.
This is the Willow's blender, the 1/4 inch here I'm going to be using for the face. Go on.
So then I removed the other side of the fuel filter, and I mean, nothing. I mean, there's no gas anywhere. That's highly unusual. There should be some gas.
I think. I love it.
So, yeah. Put some gas in it, started up.
It's like amazing. It fixed itself.
I fixed it.
I'm just glad you didn't take it somewhere to get it fixed.
Okay, well, first of all,
because that was going to happen at some point.
So let's but let's tell them what your first reaction was.
What?
You were talking to some friends who own a lawn care
Right.
thing, and what were you wanting me to do?
Buy a new one. Yeah, that was mine. Don't worry about fixing it. Let's just buy a new one.
Let's just buy a new one. Don't put gas in it. It's broke.
It's broken. Exactly. Oh, gosh. We're a pair. It's amazing. All right. So these are like short hairs here. I'm just kind of tapping in here with the off-white, doing a little bit more detail over the top. Still, you can still see that dark through a little bit. We'll do a couple more layers of this, so this is just kind of to start with. And I'm just kind of getting it the direction. So it's coming up from the nose and out around the eyes, and then the sides of the face. It kind of starbursts around the nose, so it kind of does this halo around the nose. So all the fur kind of comes out the sides here and down, and then the same thing around the eyes. It kind of comes up toward the eyes here, but then right up by the eyes it comes out. That black fur kind of comes out, and then by the time you get up here it's going out this way, up and around. And I'm only using this on the short fur because it doesn't really do well on really long fur sections. So I'm going to tap it where I want really short little hairs to look like they're happening. All this little short stubbly hair, and I'm kind of pointing it, angling it out the way I want the fur to grow. So, and then down here it's coming down this way. And this is going to end up being almost pure white, but I don't want to go in straight with the white. I want to do this in short sections so that I have a little bit of depth to that white area. Taking my brush to a little bit longer hairs now. Right there. And right up this way. Okay, and then above here, let's go ahead and switch to the rake brush. I think we're just going to get better results with it. I'm going to grab that white, add a little bit of this gray to it, and I'm getting the thinner white. You can use a little bit of the glazing liquid if I need to thin out that gray. Okay, that's pretty good. So let's get a lot lighter. We've got a little kind of a medium gray and then a very light gray here. And I'm going to flatten out my brush so that those bristles, so I can see the separation in the bristles. You should be able to see kind of between them before you start working. And I'm just going to go up in here and just do very short little brush strokes over the top of this with that kind of medium-ish gray color. Now, don't worry if you do too much of this, because we can always glaze back over this and darken up certain areas. So I'm not too worried. I'm just trying to get the texture. That's what I'm mainly focused on right here. It's just getting this little texture happening so that I can see the individual hairs overlapping one another. And really, I probably should start at the top. Let's go ahead and grab some of this darker color. Mix that in with that lighter so I kind of have both on my brush. And I'm going to go up to the very top here, and I'm going to go right up over that line there and hide my line above the top of the head there. Let's do the same thing around the ears. You see that? Get the black, which is my darker color there. Oh, I just hit my face in there. Hopefully my hair is not in the shot. I didn't comb it this morning. It's not looking too hot. All right. So there, and then...
So we had a question. Somebody asked if they could use a rake brush for this, doing the fur.
That's what I'm using right here.
See, I'm not the only one not paying attention to what's going on.
This one's called a Filbert Granier, but it's a rake brush. It's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Get some of that lighter color. Unbleached titanium there. A little bit of my white. I still got these grays on my brush. Just trying to thin it out. These brushes work best if your paint is thin. So don't thin it with water because then it won't be stable. It won't stick to your canvas as well. You want to thin it with a medium. You can thin it with a little bit of water, but not the whole thing. Like you really are going to need some medium in there to make it stick to your canvas. Okay, and I'm just going over the top, and the thing with fur is just you want to cover up where you start. So if I start up at the top here and kind of work my way down, then I can kind of cover up my last layer above.
Okay, the fans would like a close-up of the brush.
Okay. Let me finish this section real quick.
Oh, that's fine. I'll even take a picture and post it in the Facebook group.
Okay.
We're going to have to get something underneath it so they can...
Take some of the color off. It's not focusing.
No.
Focus. It's not focusing.
Yeah. We're going to have to put like a solid paper behind it or something. Maybe that blue towel over there by your water.
I think I messed with the focus when
man.
I think I did. I think I messed with it when I think if you zoom in, you can do it maybe. Zoom in. Oh, it's still not focusing, is it?
Not on that.
I need to.
That's okay. Let's keep painting.
Okay.
I'll post a picture in the Facebook group.
Able to be focusing.
It's focusing on the raccoon just fine.
Okay.
It's just not picking up the brush.
All right. I'm going to go a little bit darker here. Do a little bit of darker fur right in here. Just very light touches. I just want the top little hairs to drag. That's what's going to give it the... You can even use it on its side if you get in a small area. It can be a little bit even more focused. And actually, I'm looking at this, it needs to be... There we go. Cute. Bring this in because these are too thin. These gonna come in, bring that, narrow it right there. Right, and then I'm going to get the bright white. Do bright white right here. Coming out this way, they kind of do these eyelash kind of thing. They're kind of come out to the side around the eyes here. Little bitty brush strokes.
I'm not sure if we said hi to everybody.
I don't think we did. I think I just jumped right in. So,
yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing good. Having a good weekend so far.
Yeah, June 1st already.
I know. I was just telling Mark I'm not ready. It's like once June hits, it just feels like the whole rest of the year is like a slow slide into Christmas. It's like all over by then. Everything else is a blur. Alright, so making some kind of a light peachy yellow color with the burnt sienna and burnt umber and some white. Here, I'm going to use some of that in my fur around my ears. Some gray white here. Go around the ear up here. I'm just tapping really slowly to get a little fuzziness around the ear up there. Tapping around the ear, kind of pulling small, short brush strokes over the top of that dark. And they kind of come up and over into that dark area there, so kind of pull some that are kind of coming up over in. Very good. Grab some white. I still have all these other colors in my brush, so it's not going to be white, but I want to lighten up my color a little bit. I'm going to set it down here and do another layer with the whiter. Okay. And then let's grab some of that black, a little bit of brown. Clean my brush out so it doesn't have that white in there. Get that black, some of the thin black and brown, burnt umber. Some glazing liquid to thin it out. A little bit of water. You can use some water. You just want to add some sort of a medium to help it stick. So, and then use that black in the middle of the ear there and just pull it out and around. There we go. Okay. So his head's almost done there, this part up here. But I do want to have some of the yellow. Get some of this yellow oxide. Mix a little bit of this color that we mixed before with the burnt sienna. And just add a little bit of that in here. And then grab some more of that gray and do it over the top so it's kind of just underneath a little bit. Just a hint of that color. We could probably glaze with this color. Might make it a little more subtle. Okay, then let's get some of that lighter gray. And just come up over that black right there. Push that back. Just spread this out a little bit on the forehead. Got a little bit of brown in here. Just adding some other colors in here. A little bit of this brown black. Just sprinkle it in very thinly. And even if you've got your hairs kind of going in the same direction, you don't have to have all of them lined up perfectly. They are going to crisscross each other a little bit, so it's helpful if you kind of do just a little bit of... I'll do it on paper and show you what I'm talking about. So instead of, like on the face, having everything lined up perfectly, it kind of looks unnatural. So if you will do, even if you're going, your direction is like this, I go a little bit off center one way or other. So I kind of will do like back and forth when I'm doing it. I'm turning my brush just a little bit so that as I'm, even though the direction is kind of like that, I'm still twisting my brush side to side just subtly as I'm doing it so that I'm getting kind of a more natural look. And then if my, if I'm coming around like this, I'm going to do my first layer. I might just do it like all in that direction. And then I'll do another layer kind of above it that sort of goes just slightly in the opposite direction, or not opposite, but, just slightly off so that they kind of mesh and do sort of like this instead of all lining up like this. They'll kind of come in and it'll look a little bit more natural. So keep that in mind, kind of avoid this sort of thing. If it's starting to look kind of weird, you may be doing like that instead of kind of doing them all sort of which way. Makes sense, Mark.
Sure. You don't want it going every which way. Or maybe you do.
You do.
Sorry, you wanted it going every which way.
Okay. Cute. Okay. So that's cute. What?
Cute.
Cute. Yep. Okay, so let's bring up our little eyebrows here. Or our little, whatever these are. Kind of on the inside of the eyes. There. Yeah, I think they are kind of eyebrows-ish sort of things. And then around the sides of the eyes, there is some that come in with the white right here. Right here and here, really close to the eye. Comes around and then widens back out. Okay. I think it's that gives it that character. That little bit right around the eyes there gives it the expression. So make sure that you're getting this little eyebrow thing happening right there. That's what gives it that little cute expression. I'm going to get some of the burnt sienna, or add some of this black and burnt umber mixture. So I have kind of a reddish brown. Thin it out. And this is what I'm going to use around here. Just tap, 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 very short, kind of around the outside of the eye. Just going to overlap that white a little bit so you can kind of pull it this direction if you need to. Just slightly lighter brown around the outside of the cheeks there. And this is pretty solid in here. It's pretty, not a whole lot of detail happening. So we're kind of working on that transition between the white area and the, I actually think that I brought that down too low right there. That kind of comes out. So here's the white. And we can kind of mix it with that a little bit. Let it kind of pull some of that color into the white. It does have a little bit of bleeding between these two colors here. It doesn't go like straight from white to black. Kind of has a little bit of softness right between there. So that's what I'm doing here, is kind of taking that white over that wet dark paint now. I'm kind of picking up some of it and creating a new line there. Go ahead and bring it out on that cheek a little bit. Okay, cute. Let's do some of this fur down here with it. Kind of merges from the shoulder down here. These colors are pretty similar right there. I'm going to do a little bit of this darker color out a little bit farther. Oh, he's so cute. I can't stand it. When I look up at the monitor and look at him from like far away, you're just like, oh, so cute. Yeah, I think leave a comment below, but I'm thinking about doing a series of baby animals. So the next one would be like a panda bear. And then I have one that's like a baby deer, and like a whole series of, you know, like animals that would be cute for like a nursery, maybe. Wouldn't necessarily have to be for a nursery, but it, you know, baby theme. Whatever, that's too low. There. You know, if that's something that sounds fun, leave a comment. I always like to hear what folks are thinking. They'd like to see me paint. Sometimes it's stuff I don't want to paint, but I still want to know.
Hence the painting coming up in a few weeks.
What? Oh, right, exactly. Yeah, I would never have painted a tank if it weren't for my hubby. But it is our 31st anniversary, so
say what?
We're going to do something special.
There's no way I got married when I was 4.
Did you read the dedication in the video down below?
No, I didn't.
Got a little special note to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Now I got to go see.
I know. All right. Let's zoom out just a little bit. We'll continue with the fur. I'm going to come back and do the face, finish the face later, but I'm pretty happy with it. So far, I'm looking at my photograph here. And this side is just a little bit bigger on our photograph because I'm like, this side is smaller than that side, but or bigger than that side. But I think that that's pretty much how it is in our original too. I might bring the white up just a little bit.
Oh, that's cute.
And I didn't know this, but Chuck Hummer's dad, or not dad, but grandfather, I think, my uncle Chuck, was killed in a tank in a Battle of the Bulge.
I saw that post.
Yeah, interesting. She posted that on Memorial Day. My aunt. So that makes it even more special. Got a connection, personal connection to it. All right. I'm going to get some of this unbleached titanium, mix my white here. Put out some more of this white. And really, honestly, I could do this just with white and not worry about tinting this. It doesn't really have to be pure white because, or a color, because we can just glaze this. So, and I will be glazing it. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to, this will probably be brighter than we're going to end up being under here. So we're just, what we're really doing now is just going to be putting in all of these furs that we want to come out here. So I'm going to do all these kind of furs, and I'm leaving lots of that black showing through. Lots of the black. Trying to really thin, like I kind of touched down too hard right there. If you just want to drag those top hairs, if you do this right, you don't want to really press down very hard with these. Just barely dragging these top hairs so that they separate and give you these really nice fine hairs. You can do a long, big area. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and switch to this bigger brush because it's even thicker, wider. So it'll do a bigger area for me in a faster amount of time. There we go. So where they start here, what I'm going to do is try to cover where they kind of start, they kind of split right there. So I'm just going to kind of overlap them just a little bit so that I'm not really seeing much of where they begin, if possible. And some of them are going to be dark, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this black and get that in there. Do them both.
We got a question when you got a moment.
Yep, go for it.
Person noticed that you have such a gentle brush stroke when doing this.
Right.
And they have difficulty doing that because their hands shake. So do you have any advice to maybe help with that? I know I
find that if you brace your hand, like that can help. So you might hold your hand with another hand, and then, it may restrict your movement just a little bit, but it may also help with the shaking. So you can kind of use one hand to prop up the other hand, maybe. I don't know, what were you going to say?
I was going to say exactly that.
Oh, okay.
I know you've said that in the past.
Right. Yeah, it can really help. So you might try that. I want some of this darker color to just go along that outer edge because I want to make that
and then
fuzz along that outer edge here, this line. So I'm going to just go along there and just kind of fuzz that out a little bit.
Just make sure you don't have paint on your other hand when you use it as a
resting
point.
Because I just did it, didn't I? Is that what you're warning me too late?
I just noticed it. I'm like, there's a spot there.
There's no telling when that happened. It's probably happened a long time ago.
Yeah,
it's not coming off.
I don't remember.
I don't either. Great.
We were zoomed in, so it could have been any time.
Yep. Oh, well. That is nothing new for me. If you've watched my channel before, put my hand in my paint all the time. Just, yep. So we'll just grab some white here and just cover that up.
We'll just sweep that under the rug.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Gone.
Voila.
Sometimes when you put fresh paint on, you can also, like if the paint is just dried and hasn't cured yet, you can also just wipe it off, like kind of like with nail polish. You know, if you put like a fresh coat of polish on and you accidentally brush against it, it'll take off all of the polish, not just, hence my weird nail here. It's not working on that one though. Yeah. Yeah, I redid my nails and then went to the post office and somehow, I don't know what I did, but I touched something and jacked up this nail really badly right after I painted it, and this one too, but that one's not as bad, but this one's like really weird. One of these days I'll have all of my nails painted and look good for more than one day. One of these, that's my life goal. Hashtag life goals. Pretty nails for more than one day. I don't know if it's ever going to happen though. All right, so we are at an hour and a half and we are not even halfway finished. So Mark was right. I'm just going to say that. Going in here.
She's like, yeah, I think this would be about an hour and a half. And I was sitting on the couch, and I was like, this is me not believing you right here.
Yeah, that's what he said to me. This is me not believing you. And I was like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. Then I never can tell. And he's like, okay. 4 hours later.
I need to get a lower third with that same font.
That says what?
Like 2 hours later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a problem. I don't know.
Hey, you get in, you're having fun, it's relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
We're not in any rush here, that's for sure.
Nope.
There's lots of channels that do the short tutorials. This is not one of them.
We try to take you through start to finish. We know that most people are going to take more time, but just, Angela's been doing it so long and she's got this down to a science.
Yeah, and if I was doing this in a classroom setting, I would do a little bit and then I would walk around and watch you do it, and then I'd do it a little bit more and then watch you, and help. So it's not going to be, you're not going to be painting simultaneous with me. It's just not possible to do that at all. It's not even feasible. So
yeah, because you know where you're going next.
Right, exactly.
So it's a little bit easier.
Yep. For sure.
See, it's like you watch those comedy sketches where somebody's trying to mimic the other person.
Yeah.
They're always behind the other person.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what they're going to do next.
Right. It's never quite perfectly synced. Yep. I don't know why that made me think of it. Yeah, never mind. It's not relevant.
So you're using the Willow Splendor?
No, I'm using the 3/8 inch Filbert Granier.
3/8 inch Filbert Granier.
Granier.
I got to take a picture of the other one. Excuse me.
Okay. I'm going to need it back pretty shortly here because I'm getting into some tighter areas. Not right this minute, but I am. Don't take it away.
Oh, I'm going to go down the river.
Throw it into the river. We've had crazy flooding out here. Fortunately, we're not in the middle of it, but there's some communities close to us that are. That Arkansas River is doing crazy things right now. All right, so getting here where they kind of cross over. This arm and this arm kind of cross. So these hairs come this way, and these ones have been going this way. So, and I'm not worried too much about the hands right now. I'm not going to try to. The fur on the hands is so tiny, I'm going to use that smaller brush for it. But I do need like a lighter hair right in here to show where that arm is coming out and up. Maybe not that. Some of the darker color coming in here. Okay, so right in here where the arm hair splits, there's just thinner hairs, not as many over the top here. And if you get to a place where you kind of don't want either side to show the start or stop, you can kind of sweep it back and forth like that. So both sides get that thinner, edge. Cute. So you can kind of see where it's going with the fur. It's looking good. Just slowly building it up. Like right in here, it's going to be darker. Right in here, so I'm not going to do as many hairs right there. And you can always do these, if you don't have one of these brushes, you can always do these with like a liner brush too. So, or you could do, if I did that bear and the fox, where I just used an angle brush, and I did kind of like what I did here when I did my original thing, and I just swept the hairs using the edge of the brush. You're going to have a thicker hair. They're not going to be super fine like this, but it still looks kind of cool. And it's still like, it's a lot faster than doing it this way too. So, if you've got an area that it is a large area that you want to fill in, you could do it with that angle brush and then come back in with your finer brush and just add a few like very small detail hairs in there with either, a liner brush or something like this, so just keep that in mind. Don't feel like you can't do this if you don't have this special brush. You can do it with an angle brush too. It just may have a little bit slightly different look, but it's still going to look really good, I think, either way. Put some more white. How you doing, hon?
Doing good. Just thinking of bacon cheeseburgers with chili cheese tots.
What?
What?
You didn't say that, tots.
There you go.
Wow. Good thing I'm not on a diet. You'd be in trouble.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very healthy now that I say it out loud.
And I at least have salad on mine.
You do. I have vegetable, onion, and ketchup. That's tomato. So there's
okay.
Yeah. Pickles. Pickles. Those are cucumbers.
Okay.
See, it's very healthy.
All right. Oh, he looks so cute. Look at him. Just want to pinch his little cheeks. So cute. Okay. Don't want to overdo the crisscrossing here, but I did kind of cover up all my... I was showing that other brush stroke technique. I kind of covered up my finer lines under here, so I'm just going to put some of the black back in, just in a couple places. And then we're going to glaze this and darken up around the chin and just add a little bit of yellow warmth, a little bit brownish tones to it, because right now it's pretty cold, black and white. And there's a lot of warm browns and things in the fur that we don't have here yet. So don't worry, we'll be adding that in when we glaze. We're almost done with the fur part. This is actually really fun to do. It's very, like Mark said, kind of relaxing. You just get in here and kind of go slowly. Take your time with it. Do small layers. Make sure that right along these outside edges that you kind of make sure that you go a little bit over that edge so that you get those furry outline. You over there yawning? You okay, hon? Mm-hmm. Did you get up too early?
No. It's just my nap time.
Yeah, I don't think we can go to a movie tonight that starts at 8 because you'll be asleep by the credits.
I'll have some coffee or something before.
Keep you awake.
Keep myself awake.
Okay. Alrighty. A little bit brighter along that leg there. And a little bit of billy fur coming down like that. And then anywhere that, you've got where you can see where the fur kind of starts, it doesn't look like it's integrated, you can go back over it, and if you need to, you might have to go all the way to the top, but that's okay. Just want to make sure that all that fur doesn't look like it's floating in the middle of nowhere. You gotta overlap it. That'll make it look settled. All right, then let's bring in this dark fur here. All right, and then right here where it's overlapping right here, just take that color and go over it a little bit. Okay. Okay, and then on the tail, there's all this really weird wiry hair coming out. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to my white. If you get it too thick, just wipe it off. Try again. There you go. That brown, burnt umber, burnt sienna. glazing liquid. Thin this out. Get in here with that. And that paint color is still wet underneath there, so it's going to blend a little bit, smush it together, make it nice and blendy. Softens it. I'm going to do a little bit around here too.
Somebody has asked that they don't have a rake or a Granier brush, so do you have another brush that could work?
Yeah, I just showed the angle brush. How you could use the angle brush. Not just, but you know, about 15 minutes ago or so.
Oh, okay.
If you rewind a little bit. When I was on this part of the fur, I showed how to use the angle brush to do the fur. Let's go in with some of this brown now. And we're going to glaze with it too, so I could probably wait on that. But you can see how just that little bit tones it. Using a little bit of the black. Just making sure that I'm kind of going in different directions here. So I have really good fuzzy like ends on my fur, on my tail. Different directions. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, stop. I'll stop. Sorry. I'll stop that. All right. White here. And really, you probably, to do this right, you do it alternating. So do the black, then do the white, then do the black again, then do the white, then do the black again, so that it all overlaps. So that's what I'm doing here. This last stages here. Going in, alternating. Black, white, black. Got a little bit down here that I didn't want. Okay, and then that black right in there comes out over that leg. Kind of goes up the leg. Separates out that body from the tail a little bit. Right there. Okay, so let's let this all dry really well, because we're going to have to let this dry before we can glaze. Just looking now to make sure that I don't have any areas that need like a little bump of white or brighter areas. We can, when we glaze, we're not going to be adding whiteness, we're going to be darkening everything up. So just want to make sure that I have everything as bright as I need it before we start doing that. And we'll probably end up doing another layer of the glazing after we, or another layer of the white after we do our glazing anyways. So got a couple more layers here on the fur before we're completely done with it. Okay. Let's do our little feetsies. Here I'm going to get the number 3 round and my, got some more white. Unbleached Titanium, a bit of white, get some of that gray. I'm just going to tap in over here. In the little paw fur. And if you have like one of those little teeny tiny where is it? 1/8 inch Willow blenders, you could use that for this. You know, just tap in that little texture there. But I'm just going to use the number 3 round. Tapping in. So the feet don't look like flat here. Just a little bit of texture on those toes. Yeah, I didn't take into account the toes. That's gonna, those feet things take a lot longer. And anytime you're doing hands or feet, it's gonna take a lot longer.
Sorry, no excuses accepted.
Well, I definitely can say we're not making the 4 o'clock show, so that's pretty much a given.
Yeah, I didn't think we were. You weren't fooled for a minute, huh? Come on.
Oh, no.
I'm a professional sound man here. I know better.
I'm going to get that brown, light brown color here and just use that right there. Kind of where it comes right out of that black. Here, soften that color up a little bit. And then go to the lighter color. And the fur is basically just going straight down to the toes. So that fur is laying flat, facing toward the toes. So I'm just brushing little tapping brush strokes in that direction. Down the toes and feet. Spray everything down a little bit. Gonna grab some of my gray here. A little bit of black. Make a dark gray. Maybe even a little bit of brown in it. And I'm going to do the pads of the toes. So It's just another layer on there. Tap kind of where they meet the white, just to soften that area up a little bit right there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of this yellow, a little bit of this color that we mixed up with the yellow and the white before. I'm just going to use the, let me switch to a smaller brush. I'm going to use the number 1 round here. And I'm just going to touch and draw just little tiny toenails sticking in there. Little tiny. Teensy tiny lines. Okay. And I'm going to grab the black and kind of go around those and just sort of set them in. Just a little bit. Separate out those toes. We're going to glaze over those, so they'll also kind of push them back and make them look a little bit more natural too. So right now we're just making sure we have dark around where they're going. All right, that's pretty good. Okay. Guessing that lighter brown, gray, brown color. I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw in the nails with that one then. Darker color first. We'll highlight them. Tapping over the top of the fingers or the toes there. Darkening up the tips.
The brush lifeguards are on duty.
Okay. Is there one drowning?
It looks like there might be 2.
Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to take them all and dip them back in the water to keep them moist. I would have a lot more cracked handles if it weren't for y'all. Thank you. I'm really bad about that. Okay, going in with that light yellow color and just touching the tips of the nails there. Give them a little bit of highlight. Let's do the same thing here. Grab that darker color. Get a little bit of that lighter color just to mix in his toes. Okay. A little bit bigger brush here. Get that yellow and burnt umber, some of that unbleached titanium, a little bit of reddish from the burnt sienna. Yeah, just making kind of a fleshy tone for the pads of his feet there. It's darker than that, but I'm just going to kind of put it in sort of light to start with. Okay, grab that darker brown, a little bit black. Just dabbing in a little bit lighter. Go back in with that dark. Put in my seams between my toes with the black. So there's just very subtle color on those where they're just raised up just a little bit. You can kind of tell the pads of the feet are raised up a little bit. And then I'm going to get that smaller brush back and get that yellowish color here. And put that in under the nails. These two nails are kind of side by side here. You can go in dark. If it's not showing up, you can go in a little bit darker. There you go. Okay. You can get that reddish brown color, use a little bit of it on the bottom of the pads of these. And over the top of the nails just a little bit. Kind kind of help seat those nails, just kind of tap in on top of that nail bed where it joins the toe. Darken it up. Here, zoom in right here. I'm going to show what I'm talking about. So right here, you can see where those nails look like it's not zooming in. I'm going to have to change sorry guys, I'm going to have to do something really quick. That should have done it. Now it's zoomed in. Okay. So right here. See how now that pushes it back and it looks like it's part of the toe instead of setting on top of it. So I just want to, that's a real important little shadow right there to put in. Okay. And then I can get a little bit of white, just do a little tiny bit of white highlight just on the leading edge of some of those. Make them stand out a little bit more. Okay. Okay, go ahead and zoom out there and let's go ahead and glaze. So this will be, actually, let's let that dry. We'll do the face and then we'll come back and glaze. So let's work on the nose. I'm going to get my angle brush, my little 1/4 inch angle. And this is where the Zinc White comes in. Dab that on. Use the tip of my brush and just dab it because the nose has kind of that texture a little bit. So that'll kind of help with that texture feeling. Just dabbing it on there. And I can tap it off on the outer side edges a little bit. Soften it up. Grab the black. Add the black back in where I need it darkest. Kind of right around that area there. Just a little bit darker shadow. Middle part right here is darker. Nostrils are darker. Then I'm going to switch to my smaller brush, round, little number 1 round here. Get a little bit of black, brown, a little bit of my Unbleached Titanium. Mix a little bit of black. So I'm making a light gray-brown color. And I'm going to outline the nostrils a little bit. So I'm going to find where those are and just add a little highlight to the inside of the nostrils. There and there. Bring it around. Really, this whole bottom can be a little bit darker, so I can get some black and kind of mix it in and just kind of blend those two together so it's kind of a medium gray, brown, black color there. It's just slightly darker or slightly lighter right there. And then the area around the nostril is a lot lighter. Okay. Bring this darker, kind of brownish black gray color around the sides of the nose there, along the top edge. Okay. Then get that dark black. And I'm going to go back in here with that dark black, and I'm going to tap along the edge of that brown. Make sure my nostril is really dark. And then I have a line up into my... So this part's black, pure black. Nostril, and right here around the nose, this kind of oval right here. Right, and everything else is just kind of shades of gray. There's a little bit of black right there. But look how shiny that nose looks. Really cute. And we can put a little bit more of that Zinc White with, I'm going to mix it with that gray brown that we used on the nose. And I'm going to put it right in here. Little highlight right there. And I'm just tapping so that it doesn't go on too thickly, too fast. I can put a little bit on and then just wipe my brush off and push it around a little bit. Tell it where to go. Get a little bit more, put a little brighter highlight right here. And right here. See how it's bringing that nose out? It's like magic. A little bit right there. Maybe not as bright right there. Okay. And then right up here, it's pretty bright, so I want it a little bit brighter. Coming up the side and around the nose, right there. Get a little bit of that black. Kind of come down a little bit. Oop. And outline that nose a little bit. Just slightly bring it down right there. And then I'm just kind of tapping along that edge of that white and black to soften that line up just a little bit. Okay. Then right at the tip of the nose, we're going to do really bright white. So get some more of that Zinc White. And do another layer of that bright Zinc White right there. Wipe my brush off. Push it around. Come on. I'm going to put out some fresh color that's been sitting there since the whole time we started. Okay. Tapping it in. Much rather put in 2 or 3 layers than to try to get it right in one layer and go too dark too fast. So just gonna take your time. Slowly add more paint until it gets the brightness that you want. We'll let that dry. I bet you it'll dry a little bit darker than it is even right now. So we'll just see what it looks like when it's completely dry. A little bit more brightness right there, a little bit more brightness right there. But I think that's pretty close. That white against that black just really pulls that nose forward. Let's do the same thing on our eyes. So this time on our eyes, I'm going to use my angle brush in the water. And I'm going to use a little bit of my Ultramarine Blue with my Zinc White. I like to use a little tiny blue, like as if it's catching a little of the sky color. And if you need to, you can put back in your black again. Here, my black is kind of messed up a little bit over here. So I can put that back in. It's got a lot of brown on it. Got fur over the top of it and that thing in some places. So just put that back in. There we go. I'm going to use this gray to outline my eye a little bit. There we go. This is the eyelid area, so not on the eye, but just like below it. And this is just like above the eyelid, right there. Just defining the outer areas of the eye a little bit. And you can use some black if you don't have enough black around there. You may have to put a little bit of black around the outside of it so that it sets it in the face. But there we go. That helps bring that eye out a little bit. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that Zinc White and do a little bit of it right here. And a little bit of it right here. Okay, then I'm going to use this brush here, and I'm going to pick up that light blue right on the tip. I'm just going to point the tip down and run it through that paint. And hopefully get it mostly just on that tip, and I can use the back end of a paper towel to kind of wipe it off. We'll see how it looks. Get it on there. Not quite bright enough. So get a little bit more. And this has a little bit of that blue in it. And I'm going to go right along that edge of the eye and just... I think that black was wet. Try that again. There you go. See how we highlighted it just a little bit? Okay, can use the black. Push that around. And this side. Same thing. I'm not floating this very well, but that's okay. You can take the white water in my brush here and just pull off some of that color where I don't want it to be. And make sure that I've got a good outline around the outside of my eye there. There we go. Need to bring that white down just a little bit more. Bring this up just a little bit higher with the black. I'm going to curve this in so it's defining the outside of that eye there. Here and here, same thing. Curving it in right there. Okay, now we're good. Get in there. Get a little bit more of that white, zinc white. I'm going to put a little bit more right at the top here. A little bit brighter right in there. Same thing right here, kind of just a line right there that's a little bit brighter. And then I'm going to get the zinc or the titanium white and do the dot right here with that. I'm going to take off just a little bit of it. There and there. Okay, so it's that cloudy. Oh my gosh, look what I just did. Is that cloudy? I was looking at the TV screen, not what I was doing. Cloudiness around the outside there of the eyeball that gives it that. You just saw what I did, didn't you? I know. It's me. I'm getting excited about my eyes. Going a little bit brighter right there. It's a little bit brighter right there. There we go. A bit brighter, and then getting that black and just making sure that I have an outline around the outside of my eye with the black. I need the whole thing outlined. And then there's that white highlight just on the outside of it. That's what gives it that kind of moist look. A little bit softness. Let's do a little bit on the inside there. A little bit on the inside right here. There we go. Boom! We've got little fresh, bright eyes. Really cute. It just takes a little finessing, but it's worth the time that you take for the eyes. It's really makes them sparkle. Alright, so let's glaze and we'll be just about done. Grab a little bit of burnt sienna here, a little bit of yellow oxide in my glazing liquid. And if you don't have glazing liquid, you could use matte medium or another medium of some sort. There's a thinner of some sort to thin out your paint. A little bit of water, maybe. And you want it to be see-through on your palette here. So if you can kind of see through it here, then you'll be able to see through it on your painting. That's the main thing. You want it to be transparent. All right, and so I'm going to go in here and just paint in here over the top of my fur. And now we're changing the color of it, just like that, just as easy as that. Just adding a little bit of yellow, a little bit of golden tone to that fur so it doesn't look so bright white. It's going to make it much more natural looking. There we go. Okay. And then some of the more orangey red, that burnt sienna color here, some places. Like around the leg here, it's a little bit more of that orangey red. And then like right in here on the foot pads. This is what's going to really make this fur look real. It's the glazing. We get the texture right first, and then we just go in here. We could put it. You could put blue tones. You could put, you know, whatever colors you see in your painting. It really helps the overall look. This is what will make your paintings look more professional if you do this layer. I need realistic paintings. A little bit more of that burnt sienna. Add it in the tail. Okay, now I'm going to use some of the burnt umber, darken up some areas. I want to make sure my brush is nice and clean. Try to get a burnt umber is not generally transparent. It's pretty kind of opaque, so you have to use a little bit more of the glaze with it to get that transparent look. I'm going to add a little bit of the carbon black too, make it a brown black, dark brown. Okay, I'm going to use it in here under the chin. Some of the areas where I might want it to look like it's shadowed, I'm going to go in with even darker black right under here. Really dark. And I can also use the brush and just kind of draw it like hairs, you know, so I can get some, it doesn't have to be a solid glaze color. I can kind of draw it in a little bit in some areas where I want it to be a little more subtle. Up that foot just in general. It's a little bit bright. Darken up some of the toes there. Some of this area in here. Just black glaze right here. That's all I'm using. Black, I think it's got a little bit of that brown in it too. Go between the eyes here where I want it a little bit darker. Right there. Can still see that fur texture through. That's the key. You're not covering up the what you've done. You're just toning it, tinting it. Changing the value a little bit. And by value, we just mean light and darks. So just make it a little bit darker in some places here. Boom. We're just about done. I thought you could also put a shadow in. So if that's bothering you that it doesn't have a shadow, we could throw a shadow in there a little bit underneath him.
That's awesome that you say that.
Why?
Because, there's a comment just was, hope she adds a shadow underneath him.
Yeah. We'll just kind of glaze it in here. I'm going to wipe off my brush. And I'm just going to wipe it in.
Somebody has spotted something that you've missed.
What did I miss?
This is going to be like, what was that magazine you always had in the doctor's office? Highlights magazine?
Yeah.
What's different between the picture and your painting?
Okay, what is it?
You'll find it around the nose, muzzle area.
Oh, the whiskers. Yeah, we're still doing whiskers.
Okay.
Yes. But thank you for reminding me, because I might have. You never know. You never know. I did think about that in just a minute ago, but it's been a minute since I.
You've been known to have feetless birds.
I have. They know me. I probably need to go darker on that shadow just to make it look more realistic, but...
Yeah, I think it's all right.
Wow. It's not my favorite there. I feel like it's a little far out right there.
Now I can't do like a pop culture kind of thing with them.
What?
Now I can't do like pop culture stuff with them now, because now you got him shadowed up. Before, just he kind of looks like he's just kind of hanging out. Maybe that's not the right term.
Pop art.
Pop art. He was so much easier to Photoshop a little while ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and he was Photoshop. The image, the original image, is most definitely Photoshop, because you can see the dark gray around the outside of the fur where it was cut out. Okay, so close enough. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I think you get the idea, as much as little as you want. Okay, so whiskers, you're going to want your liner brush, and you want a thin white, or whatever color you're going to use for your whiskers, but in our case it's white. I'm going to get just a little bit of water, but mine is pretty thin already. Use the brush that is as thin as you want your whiskers to be. So if you want your super thin whiskers, get a super fine brush. This one's 18-aught. It's almost as small as you can get, just about. There's probably 10 hairs in there. And so we're going to go right from this white area here and just go quickly out. I hold it really close in, and I hold it in the direction so that I can make that motion pretty easily. So kind of practice it a few times over the top, and then set it down and just do it quickly. Don't try to go slowly, because then you'll just end up with a wobbly line. So just go quickly. Make sure your brush is the right, thickness, and that your paint is the right thinness. And you should be able to do this just fine. And like I said, going fast is the key. And I'm turning my brush as I go around so that I am always going in that direction that's easiest for me to do these little whiskers. And I'm going to do several of them down here. Really small, fine, close together. And then a few of them that are longer outside. See that? Oh, cute. See? Cute. If you're having trouble with this, it could be one of two things. Check your thickness of your paint. If your paint's too thick, it's not going to work. So it should be kind of a milk consistency. If you've got it the right thickness, it'll be much, much easier. If it's too thick, it will not even come off your liner brush. It'll just stick to it, and then you'll get a really thick line, because you're going to keep having to go over and over and over, or press harder to try to get that paint to come off. So thin paint is the key. And then just doing it quickly. Don't... See? Cross some of them over too. I like it when they kind of crisscross. Makes it look more natural too. Okay, we're just about done. I'm gonna get a little few more down here. See, there's some longer ones that we missed. Maybe. But he's pretty close, and I really like the glazing. I think it added a lot. Let's do one more layer of the really bright white fur on just a few places. So like right in here. There we go. Tapping off that edge just so that it's not so obvious. You laughing over there?
No.
Okay. You're sighing over there. Mark's like, I thought I was done, but no.
No, how long did I say this was going to take
I don't know.
when we were in the living room?
What did you say?
I said 2.5 hours.
And how long has it been?
2 hours, 26 minutes right now.
Boom.
I would drop the mic, but it probably hurt everybody's ears.
Okay, I'm going to go over the inline line here of our shadow. Soften that up right there.
I've got your complicated system figured out.
You do? What is it? Take my estimate and double it?
No. It was just a play on some snarky comments made just prior to the video.
I was pointing out the manness of what you were asking me to do. I was just pointing out that it was right in front of your face if you'd actually bothered to look for it. That's all I was pointing out. I wasn't. I was like, oh, you don't have your title right on there. I was like, oh, so if it only was.
You didn't have she still had the picture from last Saturday, or when did we do it? Saturday?
Saturday. Yeah,
last Saturday, right?
Video.
Okay.
I had the title up, right?
Yeah,
from last Saturday.
The picture from last
Saturday. The intro
picture.
Picture, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you said, what did I just need to do?
I don't remember.
You said click on Saturday image, but we were already on a Saturday image from
what?
last Saturday.
No.
So you had it on the Tuesday image for last Saturday's video.
Right.
Okay. So is that where you put new pills in a old pill bottle?
Today's video is called Saturday's video.
I know, but last Saturday you used Tuesday's picture.
Because I wanted to set up so that it was set up ahead of time. Because we weren't doing it on Tuesday. It was already set up for Tuesday, but we did it on the other day, Saturday.
So everybody's confused.
Everybody but me. I knew exactly what was happening.
Exactly. Put new pills in an old pill bottle.
Okay.
Pills are expired.
But what was today's video called? That's all I'm saying. It wasn't like I was tricking you and making you put in like
that's true.
Tuesday's video today.
True. That would have been last week. I would have used Tuesday.
But I had it set up for you last week. Okay. Are we going to go there?
Wait a minute. What was that video? I'm not using one of my battles.
Okay. All right, just going in here very carefully with my white here. I'm not even sure why we're arguing about that.
We're not. We're just being silly.
Okay. This is just white and just one last layer. This fur is going every which way in here, so just... think we're about done. I'm going to put a little bit more on the thing here. Oh, he turned out cute. Turned out cute. All right, I'm going to call that good. Yeah, it turned out nice. Realistic this time. I like it. I'm going to sign him. Super chat. What?
Yeah, we had a super chat. We had a super chat from Deidre. And she says, cute, cute, cute.
Aw.
Thanks, Angela, for sharing your talent, and Mark for keeping things working and us entertained.
Is that Deidre Pup? I just sent her.
That is, yes.
I just sent you your thank you, Deidre, so look for it in the mail. Or magnet thank you, because she sent us some magnets.
Nice.
So finally got some of them off. Not all of them, but I'm still working on them. But they're starting to go out. So the thank you magnets. Oh, and speaking of that, I guess I don't have them in this room, but I'll have to do it next time around. I'll show the new magnets we got, because we got 4 new sets of magnets. So from 4 different people. It was awesome.
Can you show your
bonus video?
Your bonus?
Yes,
well, that one there.
Both. This is the bonus video for the $5 folks. So this was for May. So that's the $5 Patreon bonus video that we did. That was 4 hours. And then this one is the one that we did in the Facebook group for patrons for the $10 folks. The $10 folks also get the $5 level stuff. We did this one. It took 6 hours, a little over 6 hours in our group. We did it in 4 sessions. So we do it once a week, and we do something that's really complicated and take all month to do it. So I am starting to post probably tomorrow. I'll have the rest of our June schedule out, so be looking for that, and we'll be doing all kinds of fun stuff next month. So if you want to sign up for that, you can do it today, because it's June 1st, so you'll get a full month if you sign up today. Patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. Both of these levels, the $10 and the $5 levels, also include all the traceables that are at the $1 level. So if you only want traceables, just sign up for the $1 level. If you want to do some extra tutorials with us, then $5 level for this one. $10 level for the more complicated one. The $10 group also gets the weekly chats where I do question and answer sessions with them, and they get critiques, so they can post whatever they're working on in the group, and I can help them usually do like little digital digital, what am I trying, editing, thank you, with my digital pen, and kind of take your image and kind of show you the changes that I would make on it. And so that's included in that $10 group as well. So, and then, if you're looking for the traceables, you can go to thankfulart.com and click on one of the traceables. It'll take you to the Patreon website where they're saved, and you can sign up there. So it's an easy way to find them. All right, guys, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it, and try it and share it with us, all that good stuff. All the links are down in the description of this video for social media and all the places you can share it with us. And we will.
Tuesday we're painting what?
Tuesday we are painting a dark floral. I'm calling it dark floral. It's already down there, so if you click on my name or my photograph after the video, it'll take you to my group. Do you get another super chat?
If we just keep talking long enough, we'll get more and more. So this super chat just in, hot off the presses, from Darlene.
Oh, thank you, Darlene.
And says, "So cute, Angela. Oh. You two are the best."
Thank you.
Oh, thanks,
I know,
Darlene.
he turned out super cute. I definitely want to do the panda bear now. So
no.
Leave a comment.
She's talking about you and me as a you two, not you, not you and the raccoon. Jeez. Well, if you want to see more baby animals, give me a comment down below, and
let me know if that's something you'd like to see. All right. Yeah, we definitely need to change the settings. This looks very dark to me compared to the white on the thing there. So we're definitely going to have to work on a camera there. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.